In this video, we'll explore artifacts. Artifacts are outputs of steps and are represented at the artifact's endpoint. An artifact cannot be created on its own. It may be created either as the root artifact, which is created during sample accessioning, or otherwise created as the output of a step. There are two types of artifacts: an analyte, which is commonly called a derived sample and represents a physical allocation of a sample or a pool of samples. The second type of artifact is a result file. A result file can be for an individual output or shared among all the samples in a step. In this example step, we've created two replicates, one for DNA and one for RNA. Each replicate becomes their own derived sample. In our example step here, we have one shared result file called log file. Let's take a look at the API input-output map to see how the API representation differs from the graphical interface. The steps details page displays the three output artifacts, one of type result file and two of type analyte. The three artifacts share a common parent artifact, which happens to be the root artifact. This example has a pool of artifacts. Because the pool is a shared output of two different inputs, we'll have two different input-output maps to describe those two relationships. Our developer documentation for the parent artifact's endpoint shows us that we can do a get and include parameters to search for a particular subset of artifacts, such as by type, sample, parent step, project, or by UDF name value pair. The API supports a put to the artifact's endpoint. Here we can modify the artifact's name, QC value, or values of user-defined fields. This is also one of the ways you can add molecular barcode information to the analyte. Remember to always modify the existing XML to use in a payload for a put, since removing the UDF node will remove the UDF value entirely. A successful put will return the artifact's updated payload with a 200 status. You may also notice that each artifact has a state value. The state will only affect the QC value. No other artifact information is affected by this state, and usually this can be ignored and excluded from the URI. A result file artifact will link to a files endpoint. The files endpoint allows you to upload or download the files. Uploading and downloading files can also be done through the API. Check out our application examples page for some example Python code.